Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We are excited to have you with us for a session on a topic that's quickly becoming a major growth opportunity for agencies and brands. How to build a best practice and run a GEO that wins and retains more business. I'm Rohit, and I'll be your moderator for today's session. As AI driven discovery continues to reshape how brands are found across platforms like ChatGPT, Gemini, Cloud, and Perplexity, a new discipline is emerging. GEO for agencies and brands. This isn't just a shift in visibility, it's a new revenue stream and a channel, a new service line, and a new way to create long term client value. In today's session, we'll explore how agencies and brand can build a GEO practice from the grounded up, how to position and how to structure it so that it drives both acquisition and retention. We'll also break down what's working in the market right now and how early movers are turning Geo into a competitive advantage. To guide us through, I'm delighted to introduce Ambika Sharma, founder of NeuroRank and Pulp Strategy. Ambika works with the leading brands and agencies on MarTech, AI-driven growth, and digital transformation, helping they helping them stay visible and competitive in the AI-first world. Thank you for joining, Ambika. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Um, just gonna share my screen. Thank you everybody for your time. I hope I have a lot of agency colleagues as part of this. And it is tailored for agencies, but we have a few brands also joining us. I hope that they also find this session valuable. And let me just, okay, my screen is visible. Great. Thank you so much. And I just want to give you a little bit of a background. We beta launched NeuroRank last year. And since then, we have worked with over 150 brands. The purpose was, of course, to be able to stress test and get insights from brand marketing teams on their challenges around GEOs. So there has been a lot of insight and work over the year that has gone in. Currently, NeuroRank is active with multiple clients on the enterprise side, and clients are pulling in NeuroRank as a tool to kind of help assist the teams which they are building in-house for GEO. So that's like the background. I'll take you through a demo of the product as well. But let me just give a little bit of background, right? Of course, like I said, pitch practice and two demos. That's what we're going to see in this session. It's 90 minutes. So I really do appreciate your time. Okay. Now, and of course, patent filed for NeuroRank, which is extremely valuable, which shows that our methodology is unique. And the acceptability of that patent is obviously one of the testaments to this entire thing. But that's not what we're here for. Now, there are some very interesting insights both for clients and agencies as well, but specifically for agencies. 94% of enterprise organizations are increasing their GEO investment in 2026, which is this year. And that is something that we have seen a lot of people were kind of, a lot of brands were figuring out whether they want to do this or not last year. And today they are in the process of building a GEO practice. Okay. Only 7% have specialist GEO expertise from an outsider, which technically is an agency. Now, this is not a research which we have done. This is a conductor research. It is available online. You'll get a follow-up email tomorrow after the webinar, and you could kind of access parts of the research in the resources section on the website, NeuroRank website as well. 47% of the brands do not have a GEO strategy at all. So I would actually say that 100% of the brands are going to need GEO, at least in the enterprise and mid market space within 2026. Now, why is it that these brands need GEO? We already know that just 16% are able to track their performance. 84% who do not have an agency working for them is, of course, there they have capability issues with their partners. They don't have confidence levels. They don't get clear cut directions, and just tracking visibility for them is not enough, right? It's a technical space, and brands are undecided on whether to be able to go with outside assistance or build in-house. They are currently consulting with multiple brands, also working with their agencies to be able to build a better practice. And within this presentation or the webinar, you will be able to get a certain set of insights on what works and what doesn't work. So I truly do hope that that will be valuable for you. In 2025, the holiday traffic, which is December, Jan, Feb, AI traffic surge happened. Okay, now this is global data, but mostly restricted to India and US. Retail traffic from AI search engines or answer engines grew by 693%, which is a lot. And travel grew by 539. Financial was already very big. Remember, Perplexity launched Perplexity Finance last year, and this is December Jan data this year. So financials grew on top of that to 66%. It's one of the top categories now. Tech is 120%. B2B tech is almost 100%, right? Every single B2B buyer uses AI to be able to decide on a new partner or a new product. Media is a new category that has also grown by 92%. So the growth surge is huge, and it's kind of reflecting in the um, space that brands are in right now in their journey. So 87% clients, as per conductor research, and also backed by Gartner with similar numbers, have not decided on a partner for their GEO practice yet. So it's a huge space for agencies and, of course, for brands as well. But brands are suffering everyday damage. This is true. Traffic is falling, leads are falling, the ecosystem is changing, whatever was built over the last 10, 12 years. And most brands are aware of it. It's not news. The damage is actually getting worse. In 5 months, it will be very hard to recover from. And I was watching this interview of Cogna's CEO, and he mentioned globally that he has instructed his teams, and they're mostly in the content marketing space. So um, he has instructed his teams to behave like search does not exist anymore. That is huge because search is their largest revenue stream. And this interview is available online. Please feel free to kind of watch it. It's really, really interesting on how businesses and business profiles are changing. Now, there are agencies, of course, some might be here, and some brands might have their agencies who are seriously working on GEO practice for them. But agencies winning the budget are not really the largest or the most decorated or the most loud AI rhetoric, right? So I know that LinkedIn is full of AI visibility posts from a million experts, but these are agencies that show up with a tracked discipline, measurable practice. What are you going to do? Why are you going to do it? What is the targeted effort, not carpet bombing? And a defensible monthly reporting cadence, which we all know is important, but not vanity matrix, right? So if you did something over the last 60 days, today, has the visibility grown? Has the competitor squatting on your client's space reduced? Have the citations actually increased? And are you tracking this at scale? So did you track this across a couple of thousand prompts, or did you just check it in your own chat GPT and the brand also checked in their own chat GPT? Okay, what's the traffic that is being driven to the brand website? what are the preferences that the brands are getting in terms of recommendation from AI engines, and it should be provable. So these are the organizations or companies who are building a good GEO practice. Uh, we know because we are kind of consulting with a lot of brands. I think the number is kind of crossed 120, 130 now. But and these are the agencies who are able to provide this. They're the ones that are going to keep the business, win the business, show value for the clients, and create value for the clients. It's important. The 60 days that you see on top of the slide is actually the approximate amount of time in Q2 that clients have taken, Q2 of the calendar year, that clients have taken to make a decision on GEO, as compared to last year, which was like 5 months or 6 months. So yes, it's crunching because the axis kind of falling on the traffic, and that's the window that you do have to be able to kind of make like a differentiation. So now, one thing which I want to kind of highlight, and I've seen that as a demand from a lot of brands, um, not unreasonable, but maybe not appropriate. That along with SEO also do GEO. It's not possible. They're two very different practices, irrespective of what you hear people say. The way that we do SEO traditionally, and I've run an agency for 15 years, so I kind of know this inside out. How do we do SEO? Number of keywords. We'll work on the same set of keywords for 8 months, 9 months, and maybe the client will kind of change those keywords a couple of times, or possibly not. But it's a set of keywords 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, right? And you go to a whole bunch of sites for backlinks. It's very subjimandi behavior. You The more backlinks that you're creating, the better you rank, and it's working, and it worked. Of course, there are other things as well. But what brands did not do in great volume was they never looked at technical SEO. They never looked at best practices for UI UX, at least not most of them. And traditionally, SEO worked truly well. A lot of agencies do that beautifully and built value for the client, but GEO doesn't work like that. So if you say that, along with SEO, we will also do GEO and we'll continue to do the same things, but make a couple of changes, not going to work. After 6 months, you're either going to lose a client or the client is going to lose a lot of time. I mean, depending upon which side of the table you're from. And we have seen this, we have tested it, we have had almost 14 months to try and build best practices. We work with all the four AI engines at an enterprise level for NeuroRank, and we understand what is working and what is not working, not just in theory but in practice as well. So this is, I mean, of course, you're free to be able to decide how your business is actually going to take shape based on market scenarios and one-on-one conversations. That's not for me to be able to decide. But as a practice, it is not the same practice. It's not, you don't use the same platforms, you don't do content in a similar way. The content cadence is different, the trust signals are different, right? Everything is, apart from the best practices of writing content, everything else is different. And GEO is not just content, it has a lot to do with strategy, and it is very correlational. Correlational means a very small brand in a small industry will show up faster on AI models competition as compared to a fairly large brand in a large industry, because the competition is more. Okay. This is just one of the things. There is a lot happening within the AI engines. There is logged in bias. There are multiple things that need to be kind of taken care of. But the one thing which I want to highlight here is that customers are not searching by keywords, and they are not clicking on links. This is something that all AI engines are also, answer engines are also talking about, and you'll see this reflected multiple times on the Google blog as well. that people no longer search. They are writing full sentences with intent. AI engines are answering basis that sentence, the intent, and the background that information that they have about you. And that's how the answer is coming up, right? So it's very important to be able to understand what are your key commercial prompts and where is it that you're on them and do you own them or not. So best is to be able to keep both the practices separate, treated separately, and that will build more value. That's what I kind of wanted to highlight. Now, SEO owns the site, you show up as a blue link, and GEO is about the citations and the recommendations. Visibility is a start point, but that is not really the thing that you want to go after. Customers spend about 3 minutes on search on Google looking for the information that they want before they pivot to the site, right? So they look at the link or they open multiple tabs and they'll kind of start hunting for information there. Whereas in AI models, they spend 16 and a half minutes at an average. They ask the questions, they cross question. Basically, they're looking for shortlisting and recommendation at the end of that conversation. So visibility is really great, but it's not going to translate into business for sure. And that is something that brands as well as agencies need to be able to understand because you're actually responsible for building that cadence there. So now NeuroRank is actually really great for agencies because it has a pitch module, helps you pitch efficiently and build the business. Ready-made report, ready to present presentation takes about 30 minutes to be able to get a full-fledged pitch ready for the client with all of the intelligence and the reasons. And I'll show you how. The practice model. So once you do have a client on board, you are responsible for building value for that particular client. I mean, that's good for business. And the model actually takes you through the entire step very transparently. And I'll show you that as well. Um, the model actually doesn't write or post anything. So NeuroRank as a platform is an intelligence platform and it will not write and post for you. So that service layer of taking the strategy inputs, building the cadence, making sure that all of the work, and it is a lot of work depending upon how good or badly off the particular brand is. It's a lot of work. And that service is the agency service line. So it basically makes building value and being very focused possible for the team that is actually responsible for GEO. It can be on the agency side, it can be on the client side. Um, I'll walk you through the pricing. It's actually very, very efficiently priced and very doable for brands and clients. And of course, you can share a login with them so that they have absolute transparency in terms of intelligence there. The dashboard is built with feedback from at least 150 marketing teams and brands so that they know exactly what they want to be able to see and what is the intelligence that should be visually appealing for them as well. So I'll show that also. And what are the guarantees that you can make to your client using NeuroRank? That is also something that we'll take you through. And then if this entire process is of interest to you, I'm happy to have like one-on-one conversations and consulting with any team that's ready to be able to build value for their clients. Now, the live forensic audit, it is available online. It takes like 15 to 20 minutes for the brand. It doesn't need any extra information. This is the pitch, or this is the understanding of your GEO landscape in case you're a client. And what you get to do is actually take a 10 level cadence of intelligence and figure out where is it that the brand is at, what's the kind of work that would need to be done, where are the gaps, where's the competition, and I'll show you one of those reports as well. And this is actually a really great pitch tool for agencies or even for brand teams that need to take it either to the board or to their decision making teams or the CFO, depending upon which organization you're on. It is live at NeuroRank.ai. It's cheaper than a cup of coffee. We've kind of priced it like that, not because um, it costs less, but because it gives you the intelligence to be able to make the decision to start a geo practice. And that is actually more important in today's time than to be focusing on a GEO practice, right? Because once you've started, you'll get somewhere. But if you haven't started, the damage is really compounding month on month. And after some time, it's very hard to recover from that damage, which some brands are already seeing. Okay. Audit on a real brand, I'll make a choice live between Royal Enfield and Mahindra Sustain, depending upon feedback from Rohit, whether we have a lot of B2B or B2C participants currently over here. Now, the monthly cadence for GEO, why is it important and why is it kind of transparently built for brands and agencies? Is because you can deconstruct what is wrong, you can diagnose the exact problem as compared to competition, your positioning, where are the gaps, what are the issues, are you being recommended, are you being cited, are you visible, all three, and then a whole lot of detail which you'll show. Now comes the important part, right? So the platform NeuroRank actually tells you exactly what to do. So article on the website, cracks in Wikipedia, complaining threads on Reddit, every single piece, or I'll say majority of the pieces which are pulling a brand's AI cadence down in terms of AI search and recommendation, it gives you the entire fix. What we have seen is if you just follow the fix and complete the good to have and the must have, they're categorized like that, within a particular prompt cluster, you'll see at least a 50 to 60% improvement within 90 days. So that is something which is unique to NeuroRank, the prescription model, and it has worked really, really well for us and for the brands which are currently using and relying on NeuroRank as a platform. Now, the second part, which is very important, is that all of these AI answer engines actually have a very strong refresh cycle. So it's called the RAG layer. They do not remember everything. They remember what is important. If there is a hallucination or a false information or an incorrect cadence, even after you correct it, it has to be important enough for the platform to remember. If it is super important also, platform like Claude, which is the fastest growing platform, will take at least 9 to 12 months to refresh its memory. And Gemini takes like a couple of days or hours at most, right? So there's a large gap between you fixing something and the platform actually updating their memory. What the conditioning phase does is that it influences the RAG layer of the platform and accelerates the memory transition. So you made a correction or you improved information on the client's website and all of the other places that the platform actually prescribed, then this will ensure that the memory is sped up and accelerated. And of course, you can track every effort and every attribution. ORHL, it's not just that you're not visible. The platform on NeuroRank also tells you if you were omitted in a key prompt cluster, if you were replaced by competition where you should have, ethically and legally been present, if the platform hallucinated and gave you incorrect information or is giving customers incorrect information, and for commercial prompts, if you're missing what is the lead cadence that you're missing. Okay, so this is very clear. It is patent filed. It's unique taxonomy. Apart from that, it gives a very clear idea of the gap and the seriousness of the gap by prompt. and by model as well. So you can see where a brand is at in Gemini as compared to Claude, as compared to Perplexity. So what that tells you is, depending upon your region, because different models have different market shares in different regions, and this is global. So um, we do have agencies on the platform which are using this to pitch very, very aggressively. But this is one of the core things that stands out in that cadence, to talk to a brand and give them a layout of where they are at right now. So I'm just gonna show you what one of the clients actually looks like. So what the agency does or the brand does is kind of pay for the platform, and then they kind of figure out the service layer. But what we have seen is that a good practice for GEO is anything between 2 to 5 lakhs for a mid-segment kind of a brand in terms of effort. So I'm not trying to influence your pricing. Feel free to price it based on the effort that you're going to make. But from a tool perspective, we start at $225 a month for one LLM model and one prompt cluster, and it goes up to about $350 a month if you want to cover all of the LLM models, right? Now, growth. What have we seen in 90-day cycles? 30% improvement in terms of visibility and 12% improvement in terms of citation frequency. Fastest visible across ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, and followed by Claude, because the refresh cycle is kind of slower. We don't need any, the tool doesn't need any PII access, special information, or anything like that. All publicly available information, and rest kind of puts everything together by itself. So the forensic audit, which is the entry point for the pitch, is actually the Trojan horse. If you're able to create that compelling pitch, which the platform actually does for you in a downloadable presentation format as well, then the GEO cadence conversation kind of starts. So in 20 minutes, you will be able to give the client a really clear idea, or get really clear idea for the brand. Where is the brand in terms of visibility, presence, recommendations across AI engines? Now, I had mentioned, but in terms, just so that you know, in case you don't know already, healthcare, education, B2B tech, restaurants, because local, insurance and entertainment, these are the fastest growing categories. These are also the biggest query magnets for AI models. And multiple researchers have kind of pulled this up. This research is about 5 months old, and new categories are kind of entering the top 10 every minute. Doesn't mean that people aren't searching for other things. These are just your top categories. 88% um, consumers who use AI talk about healthcare. So this is the total universe, or the people who use AI answer engines from a consumer perspective. So this is really, really large. If you have clients in this category, that conversation definitely should kind of start with them. Like I said, specific guarantee 30 to 40% improvement in 90 days is something that you can make if you rely on the recommendation construct that the tool gives you, and feel free to kind of try it out, right? Now, we are just kind of at the flag end of the budget cycle being deployed. Most brands already have a GEO budget. Um, the pitch is what is going to decide whether they're going to work independently in-house, or which partner they will work with. So that's the tool is a really great way of making inroads there. Now, before I move, reshare my screen and kind of move to the demo, please feel free to ask questions during the demo, because that's the purpose of being able to do a demo for such a large group. For agencies, if you feel that this is something that will add to your revenue stream, pick a client you want to pitch to, do a live forensic audit. Um, Reach out to me. I will help walk you through that audit so that you can pitch more efficiently to your brands. And for brand teams, I suggest if you do the same, if you run the audit, I mean that there are literally hundreds of audits which have been run already. But if you run the audit on your brand, I'm happy to kind of walk you through and let you know where the larger gaps are and what to expect. So whichever way that whichever side of the table you're at, this would make sense for you post the audit as well. Okay, I'm just gonna reshare my screen in the interim. If you have queries, let me know, and we're just gonna move to my screen is visible. You see my screen here? Awesome. It's visible. Great. So that's NeuroRank. You have two product lines here, a one-time audit, and then the NeuroRank growth, which is the MPE, model engineering. And once you get into, so I'll go to the model engineering first, and then go through the pitch one because this is longer. So this is a client dashboard. Live forensic audit is your pitch format, which I'm going to show you later. So here I am. This is Royal Enfield. The region is UK. Specifically picked a client outside of the Indian subcontinent so that you can see the diversity that and geographical cadence that the platform brings. So this is your main dashboard that you're seeing. This client has been here for about 6 months, so which is why you're seeing 6-month trends month on month. As a rule, no tool or platform can capture historical data because it doesn't get stored anywhere that we have access to, unlike keyword planners and things like that. So now, if you go to the dashboard, you'll see your main four cadences. One is the brand inclusion in terms of mentions. So this is your AI visibility. Was your brand visible or not? What has been the growth? Brand inclusion in terms of recommendations. This is really what to track, right? The best case scenario, and I see in the poll, everybody has said ChatGPT influences decisions the most. It's also the largest used models. So that makes a lot of sense. Is to get AI to recommend you. So if ChatGPT says this is the best product for you, that's a huge influence and recommendation. 84% customers actually believe AI blindly. So once the recommendation happens, there isn't a lot of cross questioning of our peers, and depending on the product and the industry, things change. This is a generic large format research done by one of the large research houses. So this is the recommendation. Growth in branded citations, and I'll take you through what all is being captured, and reduction in terms of hallucinations, omissions, incorrect information, missing and squatted on by competition, all of that. So that is ORHL. So omitted, replace, hallucinated, or loss of leads. So this reduction, so you can see that right up front. You can see a clear 6-month trend as well in terms of growth. In the dashboard, you will be able to see brand inclusion, brand sentiment, citation, and hallucination rate by model based on the region that you have chosen. And then it has a lot of other information about the inside screens here, which you can go through. Where are you in the pipeline? What work has happened? What is pending? And a lot of other things. But once you run the brand and monthly, this gets updated based on the data. This is also step one. So you should be able to see all of your prompts. Currently, this brand has about 100 plus clusters. Sometimes we get almost 1,000 clusters, but UK is a very small country as compared to us, and fewer people also searching. So 100 clusters is great. There is no restriction on the number of prompts. Now, what the platform does is that it combines prompts based on topics so that you're able to work around your content and your strategy better. So each of these 100 clusters have anything between 8 to 10 prompts, right? So if you see touring motorcycle discovery, there are multiple variants. There is discovery, set of prompts, learning. So it's just categorized all the information so that you're able to kind of fit it within your either other car or other funnels based on what you're working with in terms of clients. But you will be able to see all of your prompts, and you can see all the sub prompts bunched by topic as well. The prompts come from enterprise APIs, and there's an entire process to be able to get this information that the platform follows. The bunching is done by an algorithm which is unique to NeuroRank, and we just combine it for ease of use of teams so that you can address almost 10 prompts within a month, right? And by the end of the year, your commitment to the brand or commitment as a brand is that you will be able to address at least 120 to 100 prompts, right? That's a huge volume as compared to, remember what we did for SEO and the keywords, which I haven't seen yet a brand kind of cross 200 keywords to be worked on without getting really spammy. So that is there. On the right, you have maker checker governance so that you can get all of your execution links in one place, and that can be governed with approval workflow right within the platform itself. So what you do is that you choose a prompt. I'm not going to be clicking on anything on a client dashboard, but you choose a prompt. If you have one prompt cluster that you want to choose, you just run the analysis, right? Once you run the analysis, it takes you to prompt intelligence. Takes like about a couple of hours or a day to put this together. Now, this is one of the intelligence formats that you will get. So for each prompt, you will get what OpenAI says, which are the competition. Remember, this is Europe, so obviously they have different competition for motorcycles than what we do in India. But OpenAI, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity. Gemini includes AI overviews. That's a question that we get really, really often, and it's important. So you can see where the brand is at on each of the models for that particular prompt cluster. So the prompt cluster was motorcycle accessories that we're looking at right now. We also give you a combined NeuroRank benchmark. If you see here, the brand is at 30% inclusion ARI for this particular prompt cluster here in terms of accessories. Once you have this and you have decided, you'll also get to see all of the cited links there. The cited links, every single link, and we run the cluster a couple of thousand times. Okay, it's not 5 or 10. A lot of tools will say 3 and all that. No. So this platform will run a cluster a couple of thousand times so that you get a lot of scale. It runs from different geographical locations within that particular country. So there's a VPN web which is built in, and it also gives you fresh token methodology. So no two prompts are corrupted by each other, right? Because if you keep asking ChatGPT the same thing from your window, it will learn something about you and it'll give you the answer that you want to hear. That's how AI models are built, right? They're uh, very kiss up and pretend as far as information goes, but this avoids all of that. So this is authentic information and it's at scale. So you will be able to get all of your sourced links that are there. Um, how many times those links came up, which engines had that link. So, and whether the link is neutral in terms of sentiment or it is bad in terms of sentiment. Okay, positive, mixed, which ways. The classification is neutral links are third party sites which are non branded. So, motorcyclenews.com, not re.com. Branded is re.com. So Royal Enfield, your brand website is the branded link. If it's getting cited, great. The objective is to increase the citation and the trust sources there. Competition is your competing website. So that's really, really, really simple. You will be able to kind of download this as well. It's very good for your strategy because tomorrow, when you want to be able to place an article or do paid content placements, you know exactly which sites to go to and which are the sites that are really going up. And then it also shows you all of the owned kind of sites or Wikipedia or your own website. So you know exactly what to be able to fix, which is the page that is getting cited and which is the page you know on your website which is going to get missed. So if you have a clear idea of the strategy that your client's website or your brand's website is following, then you should be able to very quickly see what's the mix, what's the miss and what's the hit, right? So this gives you information per prompt cluster, and of course as many clusters that you actually want. Now once you have seen this information, you can quickly go run for recommendation, go action recommendations, and you go to the recommendation engine. Now of course it gives you a lot of information which we're not going to kind of check here because it prompts you at every step and all of that. But let's look at the recommendations for the prompts. So you have recommendation cards. If you look at this prompt that is right on top, it is vintage motorcycle exploration. So somebody who's looking for um, vintage motorcycles. There are 24 fixes which are given out, which are in total. Eight the brand has completed, or the team that is working on this for the brand has completed. 16 are pending. Six must have recommendations are pending, and there are eight recommendation cards that you will get. So recommendation is across the internet. The platform analyzes all of the cited links, the competition, and then uses the algorithm to find out what are the must have and the not have fixes. So there is literally months and um, of intelligence that has been fit in. And the good part is that we update this with every update that the LLM platforms actually do in terms of how they are making recommendations. So you do not need to continue to spend time, effort, and energy to upgrade your team's knowledge base, because training is hard and it's not always on time, but automatically within a couple of weeks of the update, you'll start to see the platform give you newer recommendations for the prompt clusters that you're working on. So you have brand website. It tells you what is the EEAT signal on the website. Uh, on the right side, you have Wikipedia. It says create a landing page targeting customers' primary intent. Schema markup is missing, and you can add the URL to the implementation tracker. Product specification pages are not readable, so it has given that also as a fix. And considering that this brand is actually doing pretty well in terms of their GEO cadence, but there are brands which I have seen which have a very large number of fixes. So, what I'm seeing agencies do, and what is a good practice as well, you take the must have platforms and you kind of build that into the retainer or the workflow if you're on the brand side. And then any additional inputs that come in which might be PR related, you can consult the client and let him know what changes in PR he would need to do, and that obviously improves the value of that partnership. Or otherwise, you kind of, if you're the only agency for a particular brand and they don't have one more, then you kind of build that in, that will every month we'll figure out what the media cost on this is, and if you wanted to be able to do like a paid PR or whatever, you'll cover that. So it's a hybrid kind of a situation that works well, but again, I'll leave that to you if you, depending upon what you need to do. So Google Business and Google Maps, dealership profiles significantly low. Flagship locations are maintained, but others lack basic information. So there's no balance in terms of the Google Business profile for all the dealerships. There are things which are missing on YouTube. So it has given all of the gaps. And if you see all the links as well, so that is something that you can very easily check and identify what the gap is. This is really important because otherwise it's all manual work. What is happening on Reddit? Brand discussions in motorcycle subreddits is active but largely organic, unmoderated, so the brand is not participating. Negative sentiment threads contain factual inaccuracies, so people have misunderstood something and they're helping other people misunderstand the brand as well, but the brand is not addressing that. And you can now see the Reddit threads and links and address that with your client as well. So it's a lot of intelligence at a very deep dive granular level that you'll get. It has studied some forums as well. It has given fixes across the forums and what is missing. You can make choices if you see that the forum choice is actually good to have and not must have. But it depends on how your you know what your bandwidth, committed bandwidth to a particular task is, and how much do you want to kind of do. SlideShare and Scribed, LinkedIn, it has covered. So all of the trust sources that needed to be covered, it has kind of covered. And Thought Leadership, Publish, weekly topics. So it's very, very detailed. Now, here is where you can actually bypass. So you can go to the maker queue, finish all of this, and kind of add all the links, which you must add all the links to the maker queue. If somebody's checking on that in your agency or agency versus client workflow, our recommendation is that you do this here. And then after that, once this is like the checker approval panel, and this is the, sorry, this is the maker input panel. You do that. Once it's done, you go to the drag layer conditioning. This is a really big game changer because you will be able to accelerate the inclusion and recommendation by AI engines for your brand. And that means that you would possibly be the only partner or the only marketing team that can go to the brand and say that, look, 90 days, I will give you 50% uplift. Okay. And after 90 days, you can show it also, as compared to you do something and then it's a hit or a miss. And this is for brand teams and others as well. We are currently working with one brand, very large, who did a trial and error, and they were an early starter. They have been doing this for 8 months, and now their entire website is a miss. So they kept getting told by whoever they were consulting, or whatever decision they were making internally, that indexing takes time. And yeah, it's true, indexing takes time, but uh, bad indexing takes more time to fix as well. So they are in a situation right now where they're possibly worse off because they have lost 8 months when they started really, really early, and they have built a very large team in house. It's not a small team. There are more than 30 people on that GEO team. They're very aggressively, it's a financial brand. They're very aggressively chasing after results. And at that volume, to be able to kind of lose 8 months is not a good position to be in. A lot of brands are in that position, not just one. I mean, we hear it all of the time. So the rag conditioning will happen here, after which you can go to tracker. So the tracker is very, very extensive. It's in two parts. One is citation because the volume is so much, and then is the brand inclusion tracker. So in the citation tracker, you'll get to know which tools are citing more and citing less. Remember, Gemini includes AI overviews as well. You'll see the citation footprint growth. each of the segments, has it gone up, has it gone down, the negative information, if you have fixed it, has the AI model stopped giving negative information, and you can deep dive, right? So you can actually see the information that is coming in, key insights it will give you. These are great for presentations, and it's kind of done that. And of course there's a bucket laundry list of all of the citations by prompt, and this keeps getting updated. So every time that in a couple of weeks that the model does a run, it will continue to get updated. Sorry, I didn't mean to click on that link. So it tells you where are you, and each of the prompts, has it grown, has it gone down, which one should you look at, and it's a laundry list. It's great for strategy. You know which, especially brands, right? Because you have different PR teams and different SEO teams and different digital marketing agency and so many people all gunning for the same goal. So it's really good to be able to have that information and kind of go after that information. You can look at the brand inclusion tracker as well. It shows you the baseline when you started on that particular prompt cluster and in how many months have you grown. So M means mention and R means recommendation. So you are tracking mentions and recommendations and growth. And if you see this brand is seeing regular growth. So month two, month three, in 2 months, 66% improvement. So there is improvement on all prompt clusters and tracks. And then there is a reduction in terms of ORHL as well. So if the hallucination rate or the ORHL rate was 45%, in 6 months, it's come down to 24%. That's a huge gain for a brand for one particular prompt cluster, and this just continues to kind of improve. And if something is not improving, you know exactly what to go back to the client with, saying, okay, now to be able to rush or accelerate this improvement, here are the things that I need to be able to do. And you get a lot of insights like top movers, the decline, where your competition is at, and you get to study the competition as well. So you have all of that information by prompt, and then common information in the master dashboard that we saw. Now, within this, you have if you needed more insights, you could look at the deep insights tab. The deep insights tab is basically talk to your data, because we're running prompt and information so many times and collecting so much of information. It's all stored in a little bucket for that particular brand, and you can talk to that data. So if the information is there hidden between the hundreds and thousands of links and content, you can actually talk to the data and get the information out, and therefore answer any questions that the brand might have and be able to build even more value there. And there are some credits which are needed to be able to talk to that information. It's part of the deep insights tab. So this is the monthly cadence model preference engineering. Does anybody have any questions? Otherwise, I'll just go to your pitch format. Anybody have any questions? You can unmute yourself and ask the question, or you could also put the question in the chat, and I'll be happy to kind of answer.
There is one question in the Q&A from the brand. Okay. So if they have the existing agency, and do they like after if they don't want to start the geo practice with us, do they need to replace the agency, or like how this works, like end to end or just a consulting layer?
Right. So they do not need to replace the agency at all. I think a good practice would be, because I think the gap is the intelligence, what to do. And the market has just grown really fast and everybody's struggling, right? 51% brands have a intelligence and expertise deficit within their own team. So agencies are in the same boat as well. So definitely don't change your agency for this reason. Other reasons I cannot comment on. I suggest that a good practice would be to subscribe to the tool, and we will be able to spend a couple of sessions with you and the agency together, or with the agency and the brand, or just the agency, to ensure that they understand how to be able to proceed and what are the best practices and how to go ahead. We also have playbooks which are created, which just outline everything in detail, and that brings the execution and the results up to speed really quickly. So please don't fire your agency. And this would be a good practice to have. And when you're comfortable, you already have the tool, you know how to be able to access it. You can just go ahead and pick up speed on that practice. Okay, great. I'm gonna come to the pitch, the $7 uh, pitch format, or check for the brands as to where they are at. So I've picked out a brand audit here for Mahindra Sustain. It's B2B, location is India, huge organization, part of a larger group, Mahindra. This is the dashboard. Here you can toggle and see, OpenAI versus Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, or see the NeuroRank benchmark. So the hallucination score for this brand is a little high. AI models hallucinate a lot. 65% is an average baseline of hallucination. So, in the same prompt asked multiple times, 65% of the time, one or more things will be incorrect or not appropriately positioned, right? And that's also one of the reasons why there's so much of talk happening on AI models. You chat with them kind of nonstop, but not everybody is able to see that the information is wrong or not appropriate. So this is something that the brand definitely needs to work on. Now you have an AI inclusion overview. I'll go through this really quickly. You have an AI inclusion overview, 51% for Claude, and then all of these. This is a NeuroRank benchmark score that you see here, but you can check by model. You can also check the sentiment. What the sentiment means is whether the AI model says, oh, this Tata Power and Renew Energy are really great companies for investors and have done really well. On as another option, you could also check out Mahindra Sustain, hypothetically. If AI model says it's a negative sentiment, they should have shown that organization, if it's larger than, let's say, a Renew Energy, they should have shown it up front. But it hasn't, which means the sentiment is incorrect. So there are sentiment issues here. Then we have brand inclusion versus competitors. This is just your master dashboard. There are 9 different levels here. You have innovation. What do AI models think of these brands from an innovation perspective? And then you have a percentage score. Are they recalling all the information well? Are they showing proper trust signals? Do they think the brand is digital first? Does the brand have a good leadership voice? And in terms of inclusion, are they actually giving like a good inclusion score or not? Again, these are NeuroRank benchmarks across these, which are averages. Mahindra Sustain is at 77% at an average, and which is at number 4. So not great. I mean, at least number 3 should be in terms of size of organization and life spent in the market. You have brand battle cards. You have the overall market perception and sentiment. What were the perceived strengths? What were the vulnerabilities? If you go up, you can export a report. It gives you a detailed presentation. You could also take screenshots of the dashboard. We'll come to the first tab here. This is the baseline. It tells you what it understands, what AI understands of your brand, what trust signals have been identified, which pages are worthy of citations, and which are the other trusted websites that AI is referring. So this is a nice card here. It gives you this information. Remember, the purpose of the forensic audit is just to be able to pitch or get a sense of where you are at. So there is limited information here, but as compared to anything else in the market, it's a whole lot of information. All the marketing campaigns that the brand has done and are identifiable are mentioned here. You go to market perception, overall sentiment, sentiment by model, um, key market insights summaries compared to global. So if your brand is not a global brand, or your the team you're dealing with is not responsible for global inputs, you can ignore this. It's looking well, but it's neutral. All the vulnerabilities are mentioned. Why is it that AI models are giving you less um, scoring, or you're not being recommended? There is a synopsis as well to help understand the information quickly. You can go to competitive analysis. Per dimension breakdown is here across competition. And if you wanted information, you could get insights. So if I click on get insights, it will give me right below this the information as to why is it that Mahindra Sustain is low on recall or is digital first. You can also go to the deep insight tabs and kind of ask your question. And if it is available in the data that has been collected, it will give you the answer, talking to that data and giving you a synopsis. So you have competitive analysis here. By default, we show the top 5 competitors. There could be more in the market, but again, this is a pitch, and it gives you 5 competitors. In the subscription base, which is the full system, it gives you competitors by prompt. So your top 4 competitors by prompt there. It gets you the search intelligence. What are the questions that people are asking? Again, it's clubbed by related queries, and it tells you which ones are performing critically and which ones are performing well. So this brand, if you remember, ORHL, was the hallucination rate was higher, about 65% at an average, and that is showing in all the prompts. Go to the live prompt indexing. The tool actually runs the prompts multiple times, and it will give you information on where you are at. So what are the top companies to partner with for renewable energy products? Projects in India, inclusion is medium, recognized but not among the top mentions. So the top 3 leaders, Tata Power and Adani Green, are taking over here. And Mahindra Sustain is not in the top 3 consistently. So with all of the prompts that were tested across categories, if you see developers, companies, um, the amount of energy created, so multiple prompts, you'll get a good idea of what is wrong and what is clearly available here. You can go to the brand battle card as well. It tells you what LLMs think of the core product and service, of the market presence. Are all the projects showing up? That they say it's available only in Gujarat or something like that. Emotional brand recall, is our LLMs with good sentiment recommending the product? The CEO or the thought leadership content, is it available? Is it not as compared to competition? How many times are you actually included in the prompts? And what is the follow-up engagement? Are people chatting about your brand a lot on the LLM, or just the visibility happened and then you know you went missing? You can see all the information on how this is calculated and what each of these things mean. So one time exercise. Once you understand one report, it makes it really easy for you to be able to pitch to your clients for more. Gives you a content audit. What are the issues? What is the status? Is the fixed priority high or is it low? This is a very good tab for you to figure out how much work is required on a particular brand, and therefore kind of manage your retainer or effort management accordingly, right? So picks out all of the leading trust signal areas and gives some of the information here. So you have a lot of stuff to be able to talk to or figure out for the brand. Gives you a technical input. These are technical errors that a lot of people don't actually see. What kind of content is missing, if there's schema markup missing, if something is not being read efficiently, and so on and so forth. And you can use this technical tab as well to get a lot of insights. Again, get insights will get you more information. And then finally, you have the deep insights tab to ask follow-up questions. You can actually ask anything of the data which it has collected, and that is your pitch deck. So go ahead and download, and then hopefully it works as a very good pitch for you. Let me know if I can actually help anybody try and figure out their report for a brand or for an agency, or if you require any further insights. If you have any questions, happy to answer them now. We still have a couple of minutes to go. Okay. So if you still have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And I look forward to be able to helping or advising anybody who wants a good read on the report for their brand or for their client's brand. And any insights that you would require, happy to share that. And hopefully I'll see you on the NeuroRank dashboard. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here.
Okay, thank you, Ambika. I would like to extend a sincere thank you to all of our attendees joined, to you as well, for sharing valuable insights and practical perspective on this important topic. We hope today's session has given a new ideas and actionable takeaways. We also encourage you to stay connected with us for the future events and discussion. Thank you once again for being with us today. Have a wonderful day ahead, and we look forward to seeing you at the next session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rohit. Bye bye.
Thank you.